storm and cyclones. In the first part, we learned that we have a blanket of air surrounding us and we call this blanket an atmosphere. Now we also know that air has some weight in it. Air has weight in it, and this we've learned since our childhood. Anything which has mass is a part of matter. So that means air is matter. Air also contains some amount of weight in it. So if you have some weight on it, it will be creating a pressure upon us. And this weight is surrounding us. We don't feel it, but it definitely creates a pressure on us, and this pressure is called the atmospheric pressure. We also learned in the previous part that air exerts pressure and air also expands on heating. When you heat air, it expands, or the molecules of the air starts vibrating at a bigger speed. Their intermolecular spaces increase, and that is why we also say at that time on heating the density of the air reduces, because the molecules are vibrating at a higher speed. So the distance between them increases, the space between them increases, and therefore we can say that high temperature leads to low pressure, because if there is less air exerting, if the temperature is higher, the air molecules will have gap in between. That means less weight is coming on us, which also means low pressure. So high temperature leads to low pressure. Now in this part we will learn that it's not just the temperature that makes it a low pressure. Even when the wind is blowing at a very high speed, it creates low pressure. Okay, so we will learn it through an activity. We will learn how high wind speed create a low pressure area. You will have to, in your book it is given, take two balloons, tie them on a rod at some distance and blow in between them, and you will see that the balloons come together. Okay, why does this happen? This happens because when we blow air in between the balloons, it creates a low, when we are blowing the air at the side is still, so the pressure is balanced. But when we blow wind at a very high speed, when we are blowing air, the speed of the air increases, so it creates a low pressure area, and the air from the sides try to come in between that low pressure area, because air moves from low pressure to high pressure. High pressure to low pressure. So because air moves from high pressure to low pressure, so it starts coming in that area and brings the balloon closer. We will also perform this activity. I am not tying them to the string, but we can always see it like this only. I am not going to move my hands. You will see that when I blow in between, the balloons come together. So let's just wait for a second for these balloons to stabilize, and then I'll blow. So I'm blowing now. See, they came closer. This happens because the air at this side was stable, and suddenly when a high speed wind blew in between, it created a low pressure area, and the air from the sides, because it started rushing from high pressure to low pressure, bringing the balloons closer. Okay. Now we'll also perform another activity to see that reduced air pressure can make things lift up. Okay, so with reduced pressure, things can lift up. Now if I take a strip of paper, I have taken this strip of paper, and now I'll blow air over it. I'm not blowing here, I will be blowing air over it, and you will see that this strip of paper rises up. Okay, so I'll do this. I have not blown below this, I have blown above this. Again the same thing happens. The fast moving air created a low pressure area, okay, on top of it. So when it created a low pressure area on top of it, the air which was below this paper started to come up and cover up into that low pressure area, making this paper rise along with it. So that is how it happens. The effects of this can be very easily seen in when you have storms. The roofs of tin roofs or the kacha roofs which are kept on, or the thatched roof which are kept on a house, they will rise up, they will lift up. The reason is high speed wind is blowing over the roof. It creates a low pressure area above this, and this makes the air from below, makes it wants to go and take that place of that air where there is a low pressure area, and it lifts the roof also along with it. Similarly, aeroplane wings are also designed in such a way that when the aeroplane runs fast on a runway, in that case that the upper portion, the wind speed increases. So when the aeroplane is running, this is designed in such a way that the speed of the air and the speed which is the air which is below, there comes a difference between them. So this one, the one which is above the wing will go at the air will go at much faster rate, whereas the speed of the air below the wing region will be less, which will give a lift to the aeroplane, and aeroplane will rise up. So these are the two properties of air, which also are responsible for wind, storm and cyclone. So first property was air exerts pressure, air expands on heating. The another property is high speed of wind creates low pressure, and reduced air pressure can make the things lift up. So these are the properties of air which are relevant in this chapter, which cause these effects. Say atmospheric pressure influences the weather. And how does it do? We know that the warm air rises up. When it rises up, it creates a low pressure area, and when this low pressure area is there, so the air that's moving up, it's warmer, and it will be going as it goes higher, because the temperature is less at the higher altitudes, or when it reaches higher above, the water molecules condense in it. So when the water molecules condense, that means clouds are formed. Sometimes you would have noticed then when it is really warm in the day, by the evening you will have clouds or cloud formation, okay, or you will have wind blowing. So high temperatures lead to low pressure, and which are associated with cloudy sky. Similarly, low temperature, if the temperature is lower, that means the air is heavier and it starts falling down, which means it is high pressure area, and when the air is coming towards the land, it cannot condense, okay. So water molecules will not condense, so that means no clouds. That also means a clear sky. So low temperature means high pressure area, and it also is associated with clear skies and no cloud formation. Now this is how the atmospheric pressure influences the weather. Now we also know what is wind. Wind is moving air. Wind currents happen due to the uneven heating of the earth. We've learnt about convection. Convection currents happen when the air gets heated up, it rises, and the cool air takes its place. So we know that warm air, when the air is in contact with land, which absorbs more heat of the sun, so the air becomes warmer, and when the air becomes warmer, it becomes lighter. The density of the air reduces, and when the air becomes lighter, it rises up, and when it reaches high, because at the higher altitude the temperature is less, so it becomes cold air. Similarly, the cold air from this place is heavier. When here the air is rising up, it creates a low pressure over here, so the cold air which is heavier, which falls down to take the place of the air which is leaving. So this is how the convection current set up. Now the more difference between the pressure, if there is more difference between the pressure, the wind speed increases. Okay, so this area would be warm area, so that means this is a low pressure area. This above is a high pressure area. So the more the temperature difference between this place and this place, the more the wind speed is. Okay, so the greater the difference in the pressure, the faster the air moves. Now pressure is actually related to temperature. So high temperature means low pressure. That means this area would be at a low pressure, and this area would be at a higher pressure. That is why the air is heavier and it is falling down. So if the pressure difference is much, there will be high speed wind which will be accompanying it. Okay, so that's one part. Now we also know that all parts of Earth do not get the heat equally because of the inclination of Earth's axis. The polar regions are comparatively much colder as compared to the equatorial region, because the equator gets good amount of sun's heat, and sun's heat is a source of insulation, or it's the source of heat for Earth. So the maximum amount of heat that a place will be the place that is falling in the equatorial region, or near the equator or on the equator. That will be getting the maximum sunlight. That means it will be getting good amount of sun's heat, whereas the polar regions do not get good amount of heat. So this also creates a variation, and this creates winds moving from one place to another, and we'll be learning about these wind movements now. Now let us understand that how these wind currents are generated. We say wind current. Wind current means the movement of the wind. So wind currents are basically generated. In your book they have given two reasons, and that is the uneven heating of the earth between the poles. The first reason is uneven heating of the earth between poles and equator, which lead to the formation of wind. Or this is how the wind currents are generated, that is the movement of air, that's called wind current. We know that it is equator which gets maximum amount of heat from the sun. So more heat means lower pressure. So the air from here rises up, and when the air rises up, the air which is cooler at 30° north will come and take its place. So यहाँ पे the air becomes hotter, it will rise up, and the cool air will take its place. Similarly, the hot air rises up here, and the cool air from this 30° south will take its place. So it is going towards the equator. These winds are called the trade winds, okay, or they are also called the north and south winds. In the north pole they are moving towards south, so they are called south winds over here, and in the southern direction at the south 30° south tropic, they were moving towards the northern direction, so they are called northern south winds, or they are also called, commonly they are referred to as the trade winds. Now poles are also very cold. So the North Pole and the South Pole is very cold as compared to this Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle. So the wind which is over here is warmer, so it will rise up and move towards this colder area. So, and the wind which is at North Pole and the South Pole, they are colder, they will come and take the place of the wind which is at the Arctic Circle. So the winds which are coming from the pole to the Arctic Circle and from the South Pole to the Antarctic Circle, these winds are called the polar winds. Now we come to the winds which are over here. Now these winds are, if you actually see this portion, 30° north and 30° south is warmer than the Antarctic and the Arctic Circle. So the air which is over here will rise up and go towards the Arctic Circle or the Antarctic Circle. So this wind is, and this movement of wind is called the westerlies. Westerlies it is called in the northern hemisphere, and easterlies in the southern hemisphere. Why this westerly and easterly? Because due to the rotation of the earth, the wind direction also deflects a little. From in the northern side, it deflects towards the western side. The wind deflects or changes slightly. They don't go straight. They change and they turn towards the western direction. So that is why they are called westerlies. In the southern hemisphere, they are called the easterlies, because the direction is towards the eastern side. So from here the winds are rising. So from here the winds are moving, and these are called towards the polar sides. So these are called the westerlies. Another way to understand this is through the pressure changes. Okay, we know the northern pole is the coldest, and similarly the southern pole is the coldest. So these areas are high pressure areas. It is very high pressure over here. Then it is low pressure at 60° north, which is the Arctic Circle. And 60 degrees south, which is almost Antarctic Circle, it is again a low pressure area. Then we have at 30 degrees south a high pressure belt, and at 30 degree north again a high pressure belt, and here due to the heat of the sun it is a low pressure area. So we know that winds move from, or air moves from high pressure to low pressure. So from high to low, you will have these as the trade winds. High to low, these are the trade winds, okay, which I explained to you. So these winds are the trade winds. Now again, from high to low, here again you have the polar winds. High to low you have the polar winds, and then again from here you have the wind coming from this direction, because high to low. So the wind moves from here, high to low. Okay. So this is how the movement of the winds take place, and this is how the this wind current is because of the unequal heating of poles and equator. Okay. So now we will be learning about the land and the ocean winds, or which we call the monsoon winds also, and how they happen. Now we will learn about the wind currents that are produced by uneven heating of land and water. They are similar to the land and sea breeze which we had dealt in chapter number 4. But land and sea breeze is an everyday affair. So morning you will have the breeze which blows from the sea, and in the evening the breeze that blows from the land towards the sea. So this is a everyday phenomena, whereas what we are talking here is a seasonal phenomena. It happens because of the season. So these winds are called the monsoon winds. These are the seasonal winds which come from the word Mausam of Arabic, and Mausam we all know is what it is, seasons. So that is why these winds are called monsoon winds. Now in summers we know that land absorbs more heat, gets heated up much more as compared to the ocean. Therefore the air which is in contact with the land, which is in touch with the land, becomes warmer, and this warm air rises up, or it becomes low in density, so it rises up, and this creates a low pressure area over the land. Okay, because the air has risen up. So the air which is over the ocean, now this air is cooler because water doesn't get heated up so fast. So this air moves towards the land, and since it is moving from the ocean, it also has lots of moisture or water vapor present in it. So that is why, as a result, we have the summer monsoon winds, and these monsoon winds bring us rainfall, and we know that our farmers are dependent on these rainfall for irrigation. So these are very, very important winds which bring us the rainfall and which makes the water available to us. Now, the opposite happens during the winters. During winters, the land becomes colder because it is not getting as much insolation of the sun. So the land becomes colder, and it loses heat also the way it becomes hot very easily, it becomes cold also very easily. So it loses heat at a very faster rate. But water takes time to lose heat or to gain heat also. So water takes a longer time to become hot, and water takes a longer time to become cold. So as compared to land, the water is still hot. Okay, now if the water is hot, the air above the oceans will become warm and it will rise up. So when it rises up, it creates a low pressure area over the oceans. So the wind which is from the land, which is at the land area, it is colder. Now this rushes in to take the place of the wind which is at the ocean. So air from the land rushes to take its place, and the air, now this air which is coming from the land, it is coming from a mainland area where you have hills, where you have mountains. So this air is much more colder, so it brings along the cold with it, and that is why these are called the winter monsoon winds. Okay, so in winters you don't see much rainfall. The reason is because the wind is blowing from the main inland area towards the ocean. There is an exception in Tamil Nadu and few other coastal places. You do have rainfall in the winter. The reason is because the wind which is coming from mainland, the eastern side of India, is crossing Bay of Bengal to reach the Tamil Nadu region. So along with it, sometimes it brings along water or moisture with it, and that is why they have a few times spells of winter rainfall also. Rest of the main country remains dry during the winter months. It is during the summer monsoons that we have, when the summer monsoon winds blow, then we have the rainfall. So this is how wind currents are produced. The first one we had learnt by the unequal heating of the earth between the equator and the polar regions, and the second reason is that wind currents are produced by the uneven heating of land and water. These are the seasonal winds that we are talking of. It is not land breeze and sea breeze. These are the seasonal winds, which we also call the monsoon winds. So with this, we finish this part of the chapter, and now we will be continuing with thunderstorms and cyclones, another form of wind, in the next part of the video. Thank you.